Oh, my one of my children just turned this on. You caught me trimming my hair. Just to, I don't need to finish. I'm just let's just get some of the obvious ones out of the way there. Yeah, I did a booktube on the 20 books that should be listed in everybody's favorite 20, but probably never would be. What? There's one way up there. It's all right. I got it. No, I don't got it. Where is it? Okay. I think if I get it. Well, anyway, right away I realized that I'd forgotten a lot of books, so I thought I'm going to have to do another one. And this is another booktube on books that will never make a top 20 list, but should make a lot of them. I won't, include any books that should only make one, but I will include a lot of them. I don't have many of them on me, and that's unfortunate. But I'm going to go with the top three. I forgot one of the best books I've ever. Oh, could get that one out of the way there. There. Alvaro Mutis, The Adventures and Misadventures of Mackerel is what it's called. I don't know if he published them one at a time or not, but there's a great New York Review of Books version of The Adventures and Adventures of Mackerel that I would put on in the top three of my all-time favorite books. It's really long back here. We'll just cut some of that off. So Mackerel would be one. Number two, and I only listed the top three of the ones missing. Number two would be Vitomil Zupan. He was on the other list, but I forgot to mention him. Vitomil Zupan is a Slovene writer who wrote a book called Minuet for Guitar. When I first moved here, I was given a gift by the Ministry of Culture, books that had been translated but that were published by the government, I guess. And Zupan was later published by Dalkey Archive and maybe picked up by New York Review of Books. Look for it, but it was so good that I read it again immediately after finishing it. I've only done that one other time that I can remember. That was Fato Alexandrino. With one movie I did that. That was Seven Samurai, the full version, when it first reached the United States. So, okay, and then the third is The Eyes of the Interred by Nobel Prize winner Asturias, Miguel Angel Asturias from Guatemala, The Eyes of the Interred, which is sort of mislabeled part of his Banana trilogy. There are connections to the second book, The Green Pope, which is also an excellent book. And the first one, I don't even know, which is not that great of a book at all. So those three alone necessitate a new video. But you're going to find some books here that let's get comfortable. I didn't realize this was going to happen so soon. Anyway, I got a bunch of books here that aren't yet going to be on that list, but may someday. Like, for instance, these three, which are published by Corona Samizdat, and are all up for various prizes. Oscar Submerges, Zachary Tanner, An Impalpable Certain Rest, short stories by the Canadian Jeff Bursey, and this is up for the biggest one. It's listed for the Dublin Literary Award, which is 100 smackers of the European type by João Reis of well, let's call him from Oporto, because he's from a small town that is now exuberantly part of it. So, but let's wait on those. Now, the ones that I actually have on me, this one is definitely one that I would put in my top 20. This is called The Return of Philip Latinovic by Miroslav Krleja, from Croatia. An extraordinary book that makes you understand the Pannonian Plain the way that Chernobyl makes you understand the Pripyat marshes. No, that's not really true, because there is no nuclear connection. But I mean, it's an important geographical spot, the Pannonian Plain, as are the Pripyat marshes. Another one is Something Happened by the author of Catch-22, Joseph Heller. Now, I'm not saying that this is better, but I am saying that there are people who are so moved by this book and that they would put it in their top. Well, not many people actually would. They'd say, oh, no, I got to put Catch-22. But there are people who would say, that it's a better book. I see no reason to compare, but it's an extraordinary book and should be in a lot of top 20s and never will be. Another one is, oh shit, I forget my, I'll show it to you later, some other time. Let's go down the list now. Robert Walser, I couldn't find it. It's up there in my shelf somewhere. The Robber, Robert Walser, a Swiss fellow, and a very odd man. In The Robber, his characters, I believe, if I recall, he's talking to a spoon, but I would think that Walser himself probably had a lot of long conversations with a variety of utensils. Interesting man. Should be on a lot of lists, as should Anna Kavan. Her book Ice is most often mentioned, and so I'll just say Ice, okay? Anna Kavan, all right? Flannery O'Connor, 2 novels, take either one. I don't know why I didn't mention her before. Maybe maybe I didn't mention her because she does make some lists. I don't know, but probably not enough. Newt Thompson, Hunger, right? No, Mysteries is the Newt Thompson masterpiece. Mysteries. You got to read it to believe it. Also, I read it so long ago, I can't really give you a great encapsulation of it. I could not remember the title of Wolf Solent, the book by John Cowper Powys. But after I wrote it, somebody reiterated that Glastonbury Romance is the Powys, although a lot of people would say Porteous is. And some would say this one is, Wolf Solent. Okay? Now, others, Alfreda Yelanek. I have a bunch of them in my shelves that I couldn't find. I don't think The Piano Teacher is the best, but I can't remember which ones. There were 2 that I read that I thought, wow, those have got to be top, 20 books. But Alfreda Yelanek should be in a lot of top 20 lists, let's put it that way. Along with an author I've never read. I'm waiting for the right moment, I guess, to buy her complete short stories, Clarice Lispector. It'll happen. But since I started my publishing venture, she's come up more and more often, and some extraordinary critics have said extraordinary things. And so I think by virtue of that alone, Clarice Lispector. Now, that takes me to, wait, did I say, no, this one I haven't mentioned yet. This is The Death of My Brother Abel, by Gregor von Retzery. There's a new version out by New York Review Classics, and it's got a different title. But I think it might also be the whole book. I didn't find out till today because I'm still reading it. But it's something that I think needs. It's better read in as few sittings as possible. You really get captivated by this extraordinary voice. But I just saw today that this is the end of book one. So I think New York Review of Books has done a good job because I think they brought out the whole goddamn thing, which I didn't even know I needed to have. But I don't remember their translation of the title, but they botched it. This is the title. I'll tell you what the German is, and you non-German speakers out there will even know. The real title is Der Tod. Tod is Totentanz, Tod, death, meines Bruders Abel. My brother Abel, death of my brother Abel, okay? That's the title, and that's what it should be. So fuck off, New York Review of Books. You do a great job with a lot of things, but your translations of titles are not always what they should be. Now, what I forgot to bring out, there should be a Vietnam book on the list of your top 20, I think, probably. Especially if you're, more focused on modern books. And one that's that Penguin Classics has reissued is by Jean Lartegui. That's a Basque French fella, called The Centurions. It opens at the fall of Dien Bien Phu. It follows a bunch of French paratroopers, and it also follows them into the beginning of difficulties, let's call them, euphemisms, in Algeria. But it's an extraordinary book about war, what war is like, about the march of the losers from Dien Bien Phu. And so if you want a book that really gets at the guts of war and what it's like, there's really none better than this that I've ever read. Yet, at the same time, the Vietnam War, which should have ended with the start of this book, went on a lot longer, and there's one writer who has been able to convey the absurdity, the grotesquerie, the horror, and also include the leaders who brought us the spectacle of the Vietnam War. It's called Raging Joys, Sublime Violations, and it's a madcap short novel by Chandler Broussard, and it's available from me and my publishing company, Corona Samizdat. That's how stupid I am. The one, book that I really need to sell is right here. But believe me, Raging Joys, Sublime Violations. You get things like the guilt that is spread. You get way before John F. Kennedy, but you get Kennedy, and there's some wild scenes. It would be rated X, but the United States, you still can't say shit on television, so fuck off. It's obscene and subversive, and yet at the same time, it's historically accurate. John F. Kennedy, a month before he was shot, he okayed the coup that it resulted in the death of the leader of what they called South Vietnam and his brother. So, Raging Joys, Sublime Violations, and the Centurions to round off our list with a couple of Vietnam classics. How?